How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to get your imagination all cranked up, get into some creativity, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Todor Hristov. Probably saying that wrong, as usual. Comments down below. Wonderful artist. I really love his style. Really captures kind of this, I don't know what I want to call it yet, but blizzardification of the current. There's an underpinning of the way that Blizzard, the entertainment company, video game company behind Warcraft and Diablo and everything, has influenced a lot of artists in this generation. Not all of them, of course not, but there's a underbelly, I think, of artists that are influenced, and it doesn't mean that everyone looks the same, but you can tell that there's like an underpinning of people who grew up with that kind of aesthetic as being something that they liked, and I think he's one of those people who iterates on them in a correct way where he makes it his own and really pushes it further, but comes from kind of a place where that's a big influence, at least from the way that I've been able to tell from his work and from a couple of interviews that I read from him. So let's take a look at this. I love this Conan piece. I think this is phenomenal. Great lighting, really interesting background, but the anatomy and the posing is really nice. The facial expression works well. It's a really strong piece. I like the way that he renders the sword. Just everything in that piece is really great. Again, another great pose here. Really nice silhouette. His painting style is really gorgeous too. Some really interesting backgrounds. I love backgrounds. Background's something that I need to personally work more on. Not as strong in doing backgrounds and environments for sure, and it's something that I've recently started to really try and make a foothold in learning and understanding more background composition along with characters and everything, and how you need to complement each other and everything. Again, another wonderful piece. I really like the way he does skin and flesh too, with the nice little highlights in there and a mix of the light versus the skin tones and everything. Just really gorgeous. So I urge you guys to check out more stuff from him. I'll throw a link in the description below, but I think he's a phenomenal artist and really, let's close that out here for a sec. Sorry about that. Really a wonderful talent, and I'm eager to see how his work evolves and what new projects he gets involved in as well. Let's look at this piece. It's just beautiful. But I did want to share a quote that I was able to find from an interview that he did. He said, "I became obsessed with getting better, learning new techniques and theories. So it all comes down to seeking more knowledge." And I think there's a real truth to that. Once you, I think it kind of almost comes once you get out of school, is that you can either hit this level of, this is what I learned in school, and this is, and even not even just once you get out of school is graduate, but what should you get out of school for the day? Like, is this all you want to learn from the day, is whatever some teacher told you, who might be a great teacher, but in the end, you have all that downtime. Are you going to spend it just wasting around, or are you going to spend it trying to learn something or practice a skill or trying to get better and really work and grow and learn? So I think a lot of masters or people who are really good at their craft, don't stop at the 9 to 5. Okay, well, I did my learning for the day, now I'm going to go on and do whatever. It's always kind of this constant, what can I do to get better? What can I grow? What new thing can I learn? What new theory can I explore? Any of that kind of stuff. You just have to have this active search and exploration of the craft, and then getting into other what can I think of the word? Like if you're an artist learning music, if you're a sculptor learning how to paint, just different varieties of things that you can do that will inform one and the other. I'm getting rambly, so let's go ahead and get into some animation. We're going to be using the Goon rig from the How to Cheat in Maya series, and continuing on with our pipe slide here that we've been working on, and we are using Autodesk Maya 2014 for today's video. Check out everything I've talked about in the links down in the description below, and let's go ahead and get started here. Let's take a look at where we're at and what we need to do to okay, I want to do the arms better on this. I feel like that's a little I want to pull them back a little bit here and then have them still be back, like actually swing them backward, and then have them swing forward there. I think we'll see if we can get that to work. And then the facial expressions, I feel they're just sliding from one to the other, so I want to do some breakdowns and everything in there. I feel like the arms might be a little over the top right now too, now that I'm watching it after. It's not too bad, but I think we could probably tone it down about 10% there, just on everything. Okay, so I think that's a good approach and probably take up most of our time for what we're doing here. So let's start off right here. I'm going to start off with just redoing this pose a little bit. So let's turn our nerve curves on. And we'll go ahead and I'm just going to pause this and save a new version of our file here. Alright. Remember, it's always good to save multiple versions and to save often. I can't try and instill that in you guys enough. It's definitely something that I've come to realize is a very important thing. Okay, so what I want to do here is get this up here, swing that back there, that back there, out a little. This one could go out a little there too. Bring that back, bring that back. Okay, and let's go ahead and grab all of this and we'll set that all there. We'll set that all there. So we go. Okay. And then we'll have to put a breakdown in here somewhere too. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I want to do a new pose here. Where still have this arm drag. This one as well. I'll do a little pull in there too. So set this one, we'll set that one, delete that. Okay, let's watch that again. Yeah, I think that works a little better. Yeah, I like that a lot better. Now we're going to need to make sure, like right here, we're going to need to go a little bit further out, try and save our silhouette there a little bit. Okay, and let's look at like this pose is maybe a little too much. That's fine there. This one just feels a little too broken. It feels a little better. think before I go into facial expressions, I want to do about an extra 20 frames at the end. So set our frame range here from about 100 to 140 here. And again, we're going to save our file. Let's look at the hip here. Go a little bit higher there. Go a little bit lower there. A little bit higher. Down, something like that. So we kind of taper off with the movement a little bit there. Let's see. It's a little slow and a little over-exaggerated, so let's pull it back and see if we can speed that up a little more. Sorry, my voice is a little off today. I'm recording at a different time than I usually do, so I think I got a little bit of tired voice today. Alright, and now we got a couple more frames to allow those arms to hit a little bit differently here, which is really kind of one of the end goals I wanted of adding more frames there. Grab it, I'll switch over to perspective here. Get in the right place. Alright. There we go. Okay, now switch back to our camera that we're shooting from. Let it hit at about 122. Actually, probably hit about 121. And we'll do each arm, or each portion of the arm a little bit differently here. And we'll put in a little bit of a recoil there. And a little bit more here. Let's see. That one's a little too steep here. You don't need a lot, but just so we get a little bit of and this should be out further. Let's watch that now. Maybe one more frame. Feels like it really punches into there. It might just be most of the arm though, this part. So that could still be dragging a little bit there. Sorry about that. So drag in, drag out, in, and back out there. And let's cut our frame range so we're just looking at this part here. stuff for right now. And get our timing based off of there. And go back here. And delay it a few frames there. This one should be out further. Set there. This one should be out, swung out further. Delete that one. Right here, we can go back in. Something like that. Let's see. Okay, I think it needs to go out a little bit further. More like that. Yeah, let's look at the hand. And we'll use the same. We'll set that. This one could still be down more. Let's set it about there. Down a little bit. Out a little bit. Now we're going to have to pull this arm, I think, back in Y a little bit, just so we don't intersect through the body. Let's see. And this is still a little too janky. It's a little too far. Let's see. Let's try something like that. Feels like there's maybe too much on the arm still. Let's tone that down a little bit more. And let's look at this one, tone this one down a little bit, and let's get it sticking up a little bit higher. Let's try that. Give me a couple frames before this so I can see how it blends with that other movement. Feels like it's almost 1 frame too late. Let's push it 1 frame sooner. Delete any extraneous frames we don't need here. Let's try that. Tweaked it a little bit more. Okay, and let's try and build on the other side. Again, it's probably a little over the top, but we can always scale it back. For a couple more frames. Delete that one. Down here. And back up there. Let's see. Alright, and let's look at this one. Set that, maybe I'll delete this one. I think it should be down a little more there. I'll probably delete this one. Needs to be in more there. And out a little more there. Yeah, let's see that. Out, in a little bit, and back out. I feel like this one's probably a little too much, so I'll bring that back. Scale this down a little bit. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, let's look at the hand. It's fine there. This one will go here. Delete that. We can hit about there. Go in a little there. And go back out a little there. And let's clean that up a little bit more here. Scale it back just a little bit. Still feel like this is probably a little too pushed. So let's scale that one back a little more. It feels like it just snaps a little too heavy. Let's see. less on the wrist. So we'll scale that back down a little bit more. And a little more on the forearm. Let's see. Just a little bit more on the forearm. This is one of those times where it's just a little give here, a little give there. So I'm going to do a little less on the forearm, a little more on the wrist. Just a little bit of give and take until it gets right into that sweet spot. I almost feel like we could delay it a couple of frames. So we got I think we can make this our key here. So I'll delete that one. And this our key, delete this. Maybe even go there. See it now. Feels a little too over the top. Let's taper it off a little more towards the end. And maybe a little bit less overall on the forearm. Feels okay. It's not perfect, but it's workable. And let's get back into doing some stuff with the hips. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of rotate down here, back here, down here. Getting like 160 then. So 135. I'm gonna have 126. 135. That's 9. So give me 10 frames here and 11 frames here, which will be 156. Just for this taper off on the hips a little bit more. Let's see. Yeah, let's look at that rotate X again. Here. Go ahead and delete that one. Throw a rotate X in here. There, and then one at the end here. Okay. probably overshoot here a little bit more. Maybe not. Let's see. Give me another couple of frames just so I can see how this transition's working. Let the rotate go to here. Now, go back a couple of frames there. So I want to keep that part. Maybe it'll work once we throw in the chest here. So let's go back here just so we can grab everything. Now look at our rotate X's. Key selected, just so we can key him on the same place here. Keep that. Keep that. And keep that. Okay, and now we just want the chest here. To our camera that we're shooting at. Let's see if we can clean that up a bit more. I think it's going to be something like that. Let's see. Maybe have it the other way around. That feels better. Yeah, let's scale it back a little bit more. Let's see how it feels. Let's look at just the rotate X's here, because there's a little bit of a flat spot where we don't really have too much movement there. So key everything there. Key everything here. Maybe I'll key it there and delete this one. Just have to shape this key a little better. Just so we can get a better transition there. Get rid of just so I can still finish tapering off that movement a little bit more. And this one, key that one, and key this one. And again, remember this is just more kind of keep alive in these arms so they don't die off there. And a little more here. I think that's an extraneous key that I didn't need. So you got 8 frames there, so let's go 9 frames. And then the end. And let's watch it. Maybe a little bit more. And then the hand here. Delete that one. So we've got, what's that, 8 frames there, so let's go 9 frames, which would give us 43. Would be where the next key is. Delete that one, and then we go 10 frames. Should be here, and just where the scene ends. So let's look at our file here. Try and taper that off a little bit more. Something more like that. Alright, let's see. This one almost feels a little too much. Maybe amp it up a little more. There we go. It feels better. And let's look at this arm. We've got 9 frames there, so let's go 10 frames. Just so it's a little bit longer than the last move and a little bit less. Bring that down here, and this one there. Oh, let's see how that feels. Alright, now we need to get that hand moving there too. I'm getting a cough today. Wonderful. Alright, so let's see where we were at this hand here. And I need to delete a couple of keys here. We don't need that one. That one's fine. That one's fine. Don't need that. So I must have retimed this somewhere here. So we have some extra keys that we didn't move. And delete that one. Okay. So we've got 7 frames. So this should be 8 frames. And then 9 frames, and then 10 frames, and then cut off here. Bring that down, bring that over. Yeah, let's see how we're doing. Okay, and let's look at the head and the neck so we can do a little bit there too. I'll go ahead and save our file while we're at it. We got a little bit of that recoil now working so we can kind of taper off that movement and go back to, we're looking at perspective 1 here so we can grab the head and the neck. there's a neck controller. Alright, and back to our camera. So I think that should go down there, back there. So what's that, 6 frames, and then we could go 8 frames down there. 8 frames would be here. And let's go 7. Cut the difference. Then we'll go 8 frames from there, which would be here. And 9 frames, which would be there. 10 frames would be the end. Okay. And let's see. Actually didn't do too bad, just punching that in. See how it plays here. Again, you kind of want to form a little bit of a triangle when you're tapering off, at least what I found. I think we could probably pull the head back a little bit more here. And push that one down a little more. So let's see how that plays. Now, this one feels like it smacks up it's either too fast or too much. So let's bring it back a little more. Let's see. And then let's scale that back just a little bit more too. It just feels a little too loose. So I'll just taper it off a little tighter. Let's see. Okay, and may as well just keep finishing this off. Let's do a little bit in the fingers here too. So I'll set this one and set that. So let's see. Go in a little bit here. So it's 9 frames, let's go 10 frames out. And then 11 frames in. Okay. I think I might get rid of this one. Go a little bit more in between. Just felt like there was something a little bit harsh there. And I think that might be a little too extreme here, so I'll go ahead and just go 1 frame less from our extreme key there. Okay, now let's go to this hand. That's fine. That's fine there. Delete this one. Reset it there. from here. And we'll go a little bit in. And then 10 frames from there. A little bit out. And 11 frames in. Let's see. Let's go a little bit more taper off in those fingers so we don't have the same amount of movement throughout. Okay. I'm going to save that, and still a few more minutes left, so let's go ahead and try and get into some of those facial breakdowns that we were talking about at the beginning. But before we do that, let's just kind of square off between 100 from the start of that jump to where it goes off there. It's working better. Still needs a couple more polish passes, but it's working better. Let's go ahead and look back at perspective 1 so you can get some more facial breakdowns. Let's look at the mouth here. Go back to frame 0 where we started and save our file. One more time, we'll throw in a couple more breakdowns here in the face. In here. Key both of those. Back open. A couple frames before we'll overshoot. Sooner. Okay, so we got a blink there. I just want to add some life to that face while we're going here. And we'll keep that eyelid expression a little bit more. And I'll do another blink here. Let's make sure for some reason we don't lock in these ones. Let's lock that in. Close it here, close it there. Overshoot that pose a little bit. eyes open a little bit more here. Actually, bring that a little bit, a couple frames sooner, because I want a couple frames of that kind of focused down there. And I think I'll close the mouth here as well. Brows down. Again, I don't want to make him grumpy, but just like there's a little more focus right before he jumps. Do a little bit of lip curl. Let's get rid of lip rolls here. Adjust that foot there. Noticing it from this angle. But right now I want to stick with what I'm working on for here. That expression, we like that one. Maybe we can close the mouth a little bit here though. Let's look at the eyes again. Keep them where they are there. I don't know. Close them up here. Actually, let's leave them open. Close them up here. Come on. And we can open them back up there. Still throw a blink in right before this move here. Hold that a little bit longer. Alright, so let's look at our actual camera, see if we can get something a little bit better. Well, it feels a little more lively in the face, like it's not just moving from one pose to the next. We've got a little bit of breakdowns in there. And I think we're hitting right about our time for the day. So there was one place here. I think if I switch back to my perspective view, I think the foot was actually off the pole there, if I remember correctly. Was it here a couple of frames before? Maybe it wasn't there. Where was it? I thought it was there. Let's see, maybe here. There it is. this one might be too close inward. Let's see. Let's delete this one. See, there's just a little hiccup there. Let's take a couple steps back. Let's see. It's all right. I feel like 50's fine. 48's fine, but 49, maybe we could find a better place for it. See, there's just that little blip. So maybe if we push it out a little bit. Oh, it's like 48. Let's see. Feels a little better, I think. Maybe I'll go here. We'll delete this one. So we'll go outside a little more. Yeah, I think that reads a little better. Let's see. Yeah. Couple less hitches in there, so that's great. All right, I think that's working a little bit better. So let's call it for today. Now that my voice is starting to work, which is wonderful, let's take a look back at where we started. We're looking at the beautiful work of Todor Hristov. Just as I was saying, my voice is working. Now I can't pronounce words. Wonderful. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let's take a look. He said, I became obsessed with getting better, learning new techniques and theories. So it all comes down to seeking more knowledge. So I urge you guys to do that. Thanks for hanging out with me. I think we got some good work done. We added an extra, 35 frames or so into this guy. And I think it works a little better. Get that little bit of contrasting, subtle, more quiet movement at the end, which really helps from the exciting stuff at the beginning. Gives a little bit of contrast to the rest of the shot. So go out there, learn new stuff, explore, just keep seeking knowledge and keep trying to apply it and learning and not being afraid to fail and just, taking those successes and sharing them. Feel free, as always, to share whatever stuff you're creating down below. I'd love to give you some thumbs up and, help promote the stuff that you're working on. And I think that'll wrap it up. I'm getting rambly. I love you guys lots. You're amazing. You can do it. I hope you take another step in your journey towards mastering whatever medium it is that you're passionate about. And I think that'll do it for today. So I love you guys lots. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes, and we will see you for some more animation tomorrow.